Welcome to part 2 of Neo search to be a $1 trillion company. Yes, Neo is trying to fly high to the moon. Will they go? Well, if you were here last week on the channel, I talked about the battery technology, what's happening in that space. I also talked about the foreign markets, where they're heading. They need to get to America, autonomous driving, and also how can they speed up the delivery of their network and produce more and more vehicles for you, the consumer. If you want to check out that video, welcome to check that out. And I also did a stock analysis on there as well a couple of weeks ago, so check that out. But back to this right here, right now. What are we going to get into? Neo, in my opinion, is number 3 company in the world in EVs. Doesn't mean that they are in terms of production and money-wise, but in terms of the quality of the car, in terms of what I see the future, Neo can be number 3. Them and Rivian are pushing their way up, and then you have all the other American makers trying to push. But at the moment, to me, in my opinion, BYD is number 1, and then Tesla is number 2. BYD is just doing it in performance. They're just producing more and more and more cars. But Tesla has been more profitable so far, but BYD is pushing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. But yes, Neo, to be the next BYD and Tesla, they need to go flying to the moon. Yes. So what does Neo need to do to get some more wriggle room to grow the growth? What can they do to go to that next level? How do they find the next battery improvement? Well, you're going to find out right here, right now. We are going to look at profitability, folks. Yes. What things does Neo need to do to become a profitable company, or will they collapse to the bottom of the sea? There's only 2 ways to go for Neo. It's either sky high or crashing down to earth. Let's hope that in this part 2 series, Neo will be the next $1 trillion company. Well, yes, welcome back, guys and gals, to the channel. We are going to look at, in today's video, strategies to improve profitability. Then we're going to look at vehicle models. What are the new vehicle models they have out and about? Is the flying car the option for the future here to make them the next $1 trillion company? And what you all came here to hear from, the actual figures. What figures do Neo need to hit in terms of revenue, in terms of net profit, in terms of deliveries, to be the next $1 trillion company? Yes, if you stay to the end of the video, you will find out those figures right here, right now on Barry Charles. And if you liked the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. But let's get to it. Neo, the company above all others in the EV space going into 2030, in my opinion. Let's get to it. Neo could be the next stock for you. Yes, Neo. Well, what is happening with Neo? Minus 721 million. In the last quarter, an increase of 11% in 2024 from 2023. So, folks, it's not good sailing on that. So, what can this company do to flip the script, turn it over? It has been ugly viewing for quite a while after the flash in the pan up at the $60 mark, and it's crashed back down to $4, $5, whatever it is right now. It's absolutely pandemonium that this stock could potentially be a great buy, but with the chances of bankruptcy. But what is Neo trying to do, or what can Neo do to actually get to profitability? Well, first of all, what they're trying to do is subscription services. This is one thing Neo is trying to do to be the number 1 dog in the place, and that is by subscriptions. Yes. How do you do those subscriptions, folks? Well, at the moment, they have the battery service model, BAAS model, which is subscriptions to batteries, and every time your battery goes kaput, you get a replaced one, and it will be done in 2 minutes. So that's what they're currently doing. They're looking at subscription service for autonomous driving. So when autonomous driving comes fully into case, it'll be in your car ready to go at any time, and you just pay monthly. And they'll be hoping that you'll continue to buy this even if you're not using it, because people just forget and too lazy to cancel. So that's why people do subscription services, because they hope that people just stay around regardless if they're watching or not, because it's guaranteed money for the business. In terms of Neo, they think that's the cornerstone in terms of the battery model that is going to help them grow revenue going forward. But for me, it's autonomous driving. That subscription-based model, it needs to be absolutely top-notch, the best driving in the world. They really need to push that up. Well, obviously, another one for Neo to do is scale up production. It's as simple as that. They've got a long way to go to scale up production. Reducing the cost per unit, obviously, is another part of that. If they can improve both of those, well, for improving margins, then, well, the sky's the limit for this company. To me, they really got to look at cost cutting. Where can they cut in the production lineup? Where can they, so they can make more money on the higher end? Other options for this company is to do like Tesla do and sell green energy and charging solutions. There's another option for them, and also they can look at some leasing programs, leasing out their cars and subscription models like Uber and autonomous driving in the future. So this is what a lot of the companies are leading towards, and this is no different for Neo. Yes, so obviously the cutting costs is a key one. They really need to push on that. And to me, that even though they're expanding, and it looks like they'll continue to look to expand, but at some point you have to actually make money. Because if you don't, you're going to run out of investors, you're going to run out of money, and you're going to go to bankruptcy. So Neo needs to turn that around to really push towards being the top of the niche company. So if this company wants to be the $1 trillion company, they need the millionaires, they need the billionaire investors to say, hey, we are seeing you starting to prove you are making a profit. So they got to get to start cutting net loss. So it goes to $500 million loss, then $250 million loss, then $100 million loss, then $50 million loss. Then it starts getting to profitability. If you start doing that quarter after quarter after quarter, then it starts getting impressive and the stock will fly. But if they don't do that, the stock will continue to languish and crash and burn in the end. So that is the big question for fans out there of Neo. Can they deliver that for you? Can Neo deliver the best of the best? Can they come up with the opportunity to scale at that higher enough rate, as well as cut costing, so they can go profitability. That is pretty much the $1 million question if they want to survive in this business. Well, yes, well, we're going next on to what does the future hold for Neo in the new vehicle model lineup? Well, currently in the premium range, they have the ES6, the ET5, and the ES8. But they're also looking at a sub-brand model launching soon for the mass production market. Yes, for the middle class people to get involved to compete with the Tesla Model 3. That's where they're looking at. But also to me, where I saw the opportunity in terms of where they could expand. Obviously, autonomous driving is a key part of that. All their vehicles are autonomous driving capability. Once it comes to fruition, if they do that for every vehicle going forward, I think that's prime real estate for them when it happens, and very exciting. I also think Neo could look at doing maybe pickup trucks and the likes, just get their market of America going, get even Australia, those companies outside that really like those sort of vehicles, get that going and start selling them in a quick production. And then look out, the sky's the limit for this company. The Flash car range, if they continue to work on their premium model, get it even more silkier, get that sports car looking good, really push these vehicles, because the more quality looking car they get, the more likely people are going to buy. So I think this is part of the EV revolution. If they want to be the top dogs, they got to deliver on that. But what I thought of a pie in the sky theory that I've already mentioned earlier, but I'm going to talk about it now, is how about we go to flying cars? Yes, can we go into the world of the Jetsons? And we all have flying cars looking like spaceships, and we fly around. We have destination parking from wherever we work. We land and park there, and then once we go, then anyone else can park there. And then if there's a car parked in your space, or a vehicle parked in your space at the time, a flying machine, whatever it is going to be, it will be moved back to the owner's address before you even get there to land. And beautiful sync. It's all organised in the computers. It's all organised. Obviously, the computer can get hijacked and ripped off, and that is the danger around that sort of technology And even autonomous driving in the wrong hands, something could go wrong. And that is the concern with that space in terms of the autonomous driving, is whether any of that can attack. But getting back to the flying vehicles, is it a possibility for a company? It's probably already out there in some companies, but is it actually future? I potentially think it is. Future success could happen there, but it'll take some time, and it'll be interesting to see if that becomes the norm in the future, because there's a lot of room up there in the sky compared to what's actually on the and all this congestion issues we're having could disappear, in my opinion, if we went down that route. But that's something else for another day. But I think that's something that they should really push towards. Their flying car model for mine will be absolutely outstanding. And if they did that, they could be the next $1 trillion company. Well, yes. Now this is what you all came here for, folks. Yes. What is the actual dollar value? What is this money that Neo needs to do to be a $1 trillion company, and from where it is now and where it needs to go? Well, let's start it all off with the vehicle deliveries. Yes, how much actual vehicles are they delivering right now? Well, in 2024, they've got to about 220,000, just above that, 220,000 vehicles delivered, done. Thank you very much. But if they want to be a $1 trillion company, they need to nearly 10x from here to 1.5 million to 2 million. So they have work to do. They got a lot of work to do to push themselves up the ladder there in terms of that. But is it possible? It certainly is. Revenue. Well, current revenue is 8.85 billion roughly for 2024. Compared to where they need to be is 100 billion annually. 100 billion. So again, over a 10x from here needs to go for this company to be the $1 trillion company. Is it possible? Absolutely. Can they get there? We will see. Neo's revenue is down 2% from the last quarter last year, so from quarter to quarter. So that is concerning. They had a bad quarter, even though revenue's up for the year. There's a lot of concerns in this theory of them being a $1 trillion company. Doesn't mean they can't do it, but there's some work to be done to scale up delivery. Yes. So, do you think Neo could be the next $1 trillion company? Well, they need to get their rapid rise, because on the current horizon, on the figures and everything, to get to that $1 trillion market cap, you're about 10, 15 years away from that being a reality, and they have to be smashing records year after year after year. So there's a lot of work to be done for Neo to really push in their market, and not being an American company, it's a lot harder, but it's still a possibility. But yes, what do they need to do? What do they need to do? Well, obviously production. They got to absolutely keep smashing out production, get into new lines of business, join into America. They got to smash autonomous driving. They got to have the best vehicles. They got to have the best batteries. I mean, there's a lot of things in this market. Maybe they look at the flying cars, joining up with a company in America to get themselves into America. But at the end of the day, minus all that stuff, they need to do all that. Profitability. They need to show the investors out there that they are cutting costs. They are getting their margins down, and they're getting less and less net loss, and then start turning it into profit, and then this company's sky's the limits from there. But if it continues to go the way it is and not improve, the stock will languish and struggle for a long time. But if they do turn it around, you could be the next millionaire, billionaire if you're buying right now and stay and hold for that time. And there is potential long-term gainer for you, or could go to bankruptcy. There's two ways that this can go. For me, for Neo, I see them potentially being a top dog in the space, but then I can also see them going to the bottom, and it's up to management if they want to be a top dog or not. Because at the moment, they are struggling in terms of paying the bills. If they can start paying the bills better and start making more and more profit, then look out, Neo could be the future stock going to $1 trillion. Anyway, that is Neo Part 2 on becoming a $1 trillion company. I hope you liked both videos and really enjoyed the channel. I love bringing these videos to you all each and every week. Well, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll be back this time next week on Barry Charles, 2 videos a week. Have an awesome day out there.